Fire Radio.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of The Size Up by National Fire Radio, where what you do off the job matters. And I'm super excited to jump into my guest because we were just having some great off-air conversation. But you guys know I have to, this is my me time, I guess, right? This is where, I'm the celebrity of the podcast and I get to talk. And sure, it's hysterical. One of the things we were talking about is the time of day and the natural light that comes into my window when I record and lighting. And once you get to who my guest is, you'll understand why. But this is my life. It sort of has become when I get to record, and I squeeze these recordings into what I'm doing today, right? So this morning, the mornings are all the same where I get the boys off to school, even though they do it all by themselves. But as a parent, I have to make sure they actually leave the house. And as a 2024 parent, I can also check in on them to see that they're actually at school based off their location on their phone. So they know that I'm not hiding it, that I track them all the time, but right. And then today, what did I do today? God, see, I already forgot. There's been phone calls. There's been loads of text messaging. An episode dropped today because it's Tuesday that we're recording. So got that uploaded. I did yard work today, which is the bane of home ownership existence in my mind. I do pay a lawn service company because those dudes do it so much better than I can. But overgrown weeds and just, I do a lot of that type of stuff. So that was my morning. And then here I am, quick freshen up a little bit from the yard work and grab a seltzer and get ready to record. So for the folks out there that are wondering, I am literally squeezing these recordings into my life, whether it be the boys doing stuff with my dad, obviously doing stuff with Mrs. Pip when she's not at work, all the other 8 million things I do. And I guess what I'm getting at is that's what I do off the job that matters, right? This right now is what I do. I feel like the most thing that matters is meeting new people and getting their stories out there. And I love every minute of it. So thank you all for listening. I probably say that too damn much, but whatever. That's what I'm going to say because it's the listeners that kind of keep me going in the comments and things. But it's awesome because my guest today, I got introduced to based off of some other guests. And I think that is another great thing, that it wasn't even like they were like, yo, you got to get Lance on the show. I don't even know how you and I started talking, Lance, but how did we start talking? Do you remember now? Because it's been a month or two.
I think we went back and forth with the podcast episode with Noah and John, and then we kind of got talking into how I actually got into doing videography for them.
So yeah, okay, that would make sense. And they did say oh, you got to. I'm pretty sure they said you got to meet Lance. You and him would get along well, or something along those lines. But Lance from Zero Dark 30 Media, because I didn't introduce you, I just started talking to you like everybody would know. But what's up today, man? Where in the world are we finding you in your day? How's your day been?
My day is good. I literally did the same thing you did, dropped the little one off, and then came back here, squeezing this podcast out, literally before a strongman competition in 2 days. So everything is busy. Everything is busy.
and to clarify, you're not competing in the strongman competition.
Oh,
you're
no.
Shooting it. Let's get that one out now. Just to make sure everybody's not he's got another strongman competitor on. Why are you reverting to the same guest, Pip? Come on, switch it up a bit, right?
Yeah, dude, kudos to them because the weight that they put up is insane.
It's totally insane. And the amount of times they do it, or I don't even want to say so. So one of them will squash me probably for saying this. It's not even the amount of weight they put up. It's the fact that they move with that weight, in my opinion, because I just even know moving with the weights that I move around with and some of the things that they do is just killer. It is so taxing. It's unreal.
Right. Exactly.
And they just do it. I'm not going to say they do it with ease because it's definitely not an easy thing, but they just do it. And I love that. That's what I think I love about strongman is they just put in the work and do it. It's really the simplest way to go. And I don't think there's any other way to do it. You just have to go.
Which is nice because it turns into very good physical fitness for firefighters too. So
that's what we do, right?
Exactly.
Pick up weight and go.
I've seen people in the firefighting world go into strongman and absolutely love it. So that's why I was like, dude, this is super cool.
I feel since I've interviewed Marcus and then Noah and everybody, and I'm paying more attention to it. Obviously, I picked up a lot of the folks who compete as followers after their episodes, so I started following them back, and I'm seeing more of their training, and I'm seeing more of what they're saying and doing. And so many of the firefighters, at least, that compete in the world's strongest firefighter, I don't think they set out their life to be a strong man or a strong woman competitor. I just think they fell into it, right?
Oh yeah, from all the stories that I've heard from it, it's always everybody falling into strongman.
Because it's not like one, like again, I talked to about it with them. Well, so this will be the third time I say it. Like, sure, I watched it on ESPN2 back in the day, and like ESPN 8 the Ocho now have like a strongman competition here or there, right? But it wasn't like, and especially like little old me, like it wasn't like, oh, I could go do this. But when you think about it, we can all train in that style, especially as firefighters, and a lot of us kind of do in a way. We're just not going to that level of let me lift this psychotically large number weight all these times and move.
Right, exactly.
I felt like I cut out there at the end, but I guess I didn't because I just lost it in my ear when I said that. So, of course, because I have a media guy on, I am like extra,
Of course.
like totally extra concerned about my lighting today, about like we were talking about the natural light, right? So, for all of you that know, I use a light, lights me up. I can change it now and you can see it. Not that anyone cares, but there's a huge difference in the natural light that I bring in, which everyone recommends you get natural light because it's the best.
Gotta
But
have the
guess what?
natural light.
What's that?
So you have to have the natural light. Have
Yeah,
to.
but guess what? Natural light is it's natural. So right now it's effing overcast here in New Jersey. So and sometimes I record at 9 in the morning. Sometimes I record at 4 in the afternoon. The sun moves. In case anyone didn't know that, and I'm not the best sciencey guy. The Earth moves, the sun moves, all these things. But I don't get the same natural light, so it's not the best, Lance. It's you guys all lie. It's not the best.
You gotta come down to Florida. You get the perfect natural light. There you go.
Yeah, until a hurricane decides to come
Yeah.
through and just cloud covers you guys. But yeah, that natural light is I just don't get it, and I'm like, dude, I was so intimidated before this started that you were gonna have this psychotic setup, and I was gonna be like, yeah, I suck.
Keep it nice and easy, man. When it comes to just me, keep it nice and easy.
Nice and simple. You don't need any of the fanciness going on there, huh? So so what is it that you're doing now? What is Zero Dark 30 Media, and kind of how did you decide you wanted to do a media type group like this?
So I actually started doing videography. Well, this is when I was in Fire Academy. I started doing videography for my local gym, and then I fell in love with it. So I started doing that for like local power lifting meets, like for completely free. I did those, did recaps for them, did photo packages for those, and then after that, I did like my recap for my Fire Academy, like whole video.
You were that guy. There's always that guy, right?
Always that guy. That was me. I was always there with a camera or a GoPro running around, like going up the stairs, following everybody. But I did like the whole recap for everything, and then everything. Like I just fell in love with that and graduated from Fire Academy, and then switched my careers. And
So
my dad was so mad at me because he works in Miami Dade.
I was gonna say your
So,
dad was a firefighter too.
yeah, yeah,
Oh boy.
yeah. But he's been down there for I think 13 years, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
So I definitely wanted to like follow his footsteps into like going into firefighter and everything. So that was a big like thing to like really fight myself on, and I just went with what made me happy, and obviously it blew up from there.
So it's really interesting though, because prior to that kind of like Jim asking you to do some video work, like were you just doing stuff for fun? Like I know, in high school classes and college classes, a lot of people get into this beforehand. You weren't doing anything like that, or like,
Um, I mean, I did like little videos here and there, like when the app Vine was a thing. I
oh,
did
Vines,
things
yeah, I
like
remember
stuff up
Vine.
there. I'm
Here,
not gonna like.
this is how long I've been on the job, right? This is how long. I work in a college town. I don't make any bones about that. But one day there was like a impromptu house slash block party in the college area, like on a Saturday, like pop up party type thing.
Mhm.
And someone was like, "Yo, you guys got to go on Vines. They're like up on the porch roofs." And we're like, "What is Vine?" Like, and so someone in the firehouse downloaded it, and then we're watching these college students all on these porch roofs, and we're literally watching it on Vine. Like, this is pre. I feel like it was like pre Instagram, maybe Vine for a little bit there, or
Yeah, it was like right around there.
yeah. So for the kids listening, the TikTokers out there, like Vine was like one of the starts of this. Kind of like how I talk about. I did have a MySpace account. I'm that old as well,
Oof.
but yeah. I'll date myself there. Totally. I think I still have a MySpace account, to be honest with you. I don't know how to shut it off, but um, so we were watching it like live. So that Vine stuff was, the precursor to what we are into now, which is a whole different world. So you had a couple of Vine videos and just decided it was something that you were getting into.
Oh yeah, yeah. I went from that to doing the videos for the gym, and then um, the person that owns the gym, they own Grocer Powerlift, and that's like a big powerlifting brand. So we went to the Arnold one year. They had like a booth there doing a recap for them. And then on like the last day, I snuck on stage and started recording the world's strongest firefighters. And then Noah's seen it. And then it's been like just ever since. Just I've just been doing it ever since.
So, and that's pretty epic too. Like you snuck on stage for the world's strongest firefighter. Was that because of your firefighting connection that you were like, I bet no one is really highlighting this in a way that I can?
Well, I had one friend that we know from Florida, Harry Walker. Like he was competing, so I was like, "Hey man!" Like I told the security guard, I was like, "Hey man, I'm supposed to be recording uh, one of the firefighters up there because I know him from Florida." And he was just like, "Okay," and then like
Yeah,
let
you
me
had a
through.
camera. You looked official. Works even better. Noah, tighten up security. Note to self: make sure you tighten up security for the stage. But that's so awesome, right? And well, I don't love the fact that you're not a firefighter right now, but and this is kind of a new theme in this kind of grouping of episodes that I've been doing where people have left the fire service to do something else. And you talked about it like it wasn't the easiest decision in the world when you did it. And I find it even crazier that in the fire academy, you really discovered the love for this by capturing your academy group, right? But it's a big part of it, right? Being a firefighter is a humongous commitment for your life.
Right, exactly. Like as like I said, I went from the gym to Fire Academy. I've done the Fire Combat Challenge. I've done videos for them. Went to the World's Strongest Firefighter. Like I mean, it's been blowing up like crazy, and I don't know. It's a very like hard thing because like even in the back of my head now, I'm still like, damn, did I make the right decision? And I'm like, oh, I'm happy. I'm happy. Like my family's thriving. It's nice. So at the end of the day, like I've definitely made the right decision.
See, and so a guest that I had on not too long ago said the same thing that they left the fire service, but they're happy now, right?
Hmm.
And you never know. Like you never know. Maybe if you were in the fire service, you would be just as happy. But you're happy now in what you did. So that decision was right for when it was right then, right now, however you want to look at it. And I'm sure being a dad myself, even though my kids aren't, or being not just even a dad myself, but having a dad who was on the job, that conversation was probably harder than actually telling the chief that you weren't doing this anymore, right?
That was a hard conversation. That was a really hard conversation.
Did he take it? You don't have to answer this necessarily. I'm gonna guess he didn't take it well at first. Let's say.
Like he took it well because he supports me with anything, but like I could tell in my I could tell like he
Sure.
wasn't like happy about it at
I'm a
all.
son as well. I understand how these things go, right? Your dad's always going to support you, but in the back of his mind, he was like, "This kid's throwing away you're throwing away
Oh
the
yeah,
golden ticket in a way, right? Because that's what we say. We got the golden ticket for this job. So,
right, exactly.
and you did the hard work. Like you got the job. You just finished the academy. So did you ever start on the line, or after the academy you
I
decided?
never started on the line like officially,
Okay.
but I did finish like the academy. Like I have a challenge point and everything from IRSC.
Which again, and that's one of the see. I would again being the dad. All right, ready to put my dad hat on and be like, why don't you just try it for a little while? Like get out in the field and see what's up and do this video thing, like that would be my own advice. I'm not going to tell you I would support you one way or another or whatever, but that would be my advice. Give it a little bit of time, but clearly it's been working out really well for you, which is something that people need to know, that there are other options out there.
Right, exactly. Because that was like the big thing too. Like anytime I would ask for like advice from like all my firefighter friends, they would be like, "Oh, well, you can do this on the side while you do firefighting." And I'm like, I wanted to go like all in. Like if I'm doing something, I want to be like entrenched in it. So that's what I did.
And so that is a big leap of faith too, though, because the entrenchment into the multimedia video type world is not a cheap undertaking. Just from what I know from my little setups that I utilize, right? So like, not only are you going into it, but you have a large amount of equipment to purchase.
Right, exactly. And it never stops either. Like buying the equipment.
Dude, I can only imagine just the amount of updates we get on the program we use for podcasting, like how video editing software and how the technology level is just jumping left and right.
Right, exactly.
So with the world now too, because I feel like you probably picked a pretty decent time to make this decision because the world is very media heavy. Like even on social media, if I put a picture up, nobody sees it. If I put a video up, it's a whole different world of seeing it.
Mhm.
So are you seeing that on your end too, of like how people are wanting more video to get their message out there?
Oh yeah, like you said before, it wasn't like the old days of like Instagram where you could post a picture and
The old
1,000 likes
days,
super
the
easy.
old days,
Yeah.
2019, the old in olden times, as my kids call it. When you grew up in olden times, yeah. So 2017, when Instagram, you posted a picture and it worked.
Yep, exactly. But everybody wants video. Everybody wants video, and they want it like yesterday.
That is definitely something too, because right, you want that instant gratification of whatever it can be. That
Exactly.
that too is something Instagram and TikTok especially has done for this current generation. Is like this instant gratification of like I did it, I put it up, and I moved on.
Right. Exactly. But I feel like everybody wants that instant gratification.
And everybody wants to share everything too, like because I don't want to say I get in trouble from folks, but I don't share as much as I was for a while because
Hmm.
again I'm like I want to be in the moment. Like maybe I'll take the video at the time, like say like we just went to see Green Day a few weeks ago, and I grabbed a couple videos, but I wasn't posting them from there because if I posted them, that meant I missed the rest of the song or like. And I'm trying to teach my kids of that, like it's cool to post, but do it when you have the time so you don't miss the next big thing.
Right. Exactly. That's one thing I do struggle with. Like even in the video world is like, dang, like sometimes I just put the camera down for a second, take everything in, and then I'll just put it back up. So it's like really hard to like kind of go back and forth with being like living in the moment because my wife is like, "Oh, put the camera down. Don't bring the camera here and there." So
Which has got to be a hard thing too for you when it's your job. But right, you are at the Arnold Sports Fest on stage with the world's strongest firefighters and Arnold Schwarzenegger. But it's your job to document all those things. So it's very
Mhm.
hard to be in that moment, probably.
yeah, it definitely is. Like it's like a thing of being like, "Hey, step back for a second, take everything in, and then just jump right back in."
Yeah, you get like 2 seconds to appreciate it. It's like when you're, I guess, a photographer at the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Like, hey, you were on the field
Right.
at the Super Bowl, right? How out of control is that? But you have a job to do
Exactly.
too. It's sort of like being a firefighter when you pull up and you look at the building and it's on fire and you're doing your assessment in your head and you're like, holy shit, this is on fire. Okay, now I have to go back to work.
You're like, "Oh yeah, hold up, we got it. We got things to do."
And we're the people like, I can't look at this anymore. Like, whoa, that looks odd. Like, you pull up to something, you're like, whoa, that looks crazy. And then it's like, okay, back to work. Like, this is not crazy. This is my job to fix the crazy.
As long as you're not like taking pictures of the building on fire, with like with your whole squad,
Yeah.
like I've seen some people do. I'm like, yo, y'all are crazy. Like,
Yeah, I've seen those internet shots, and I'm just like, I don't even have the thought process in my. It's even like when people like they're responding and they have the video, like, and most of the time it will be from the folks in the back seat who maybe have a little more. They definitely have more room, I can say that, but have more less to think about on the way there than the people in the front seat. Obviously, not the driver and the officer where I've been since this whole video thing happened. But the last thing on my mind is like, hey, let me get a video of the smoke column because it's just not happening. I think I was able to do it once, and it was because I was in a reserve rig that was really slow, and we were really far away from the call, and I had plenty of time to talk to think about it.
oh, that's hilarious.
But again, it's that video age that we're kind of living in, and what you're doing by documenting these things is such an important thing. Like even you said your academy class, like how did that kind of come about? Was it a common thing? Because I know some academies they always have people, some they never have people. Like how did that come through?
um, well, like that was like just because I was doing video for the gym. Um, um, I was doing the video for the gym, so everybody already knew that I did video. And then that's when I just did it for my class and just took that over.
So on top of being like in the class and learning the things and having to do the skills, then you had to switch hats per
Yeah,
se, and then grab the
exactly.
camera and then record everybody doing the skills.
So I was learning two things at like one time.
Yeah, especially when it wasn't like you were the pro. Like a lot of times, for my non firefighter folks out there listening, like you'll have someone who's come from the video production world or from the photography world, and they'll always have a camera with them and be taking pictures, and they're able to make this cool slice video. Where in Lance's part, he was like, oh, I think I want to try this and do both things at once, which had to be an interesting learning curve too.
It was. It definitely was. I've done like YouTube back in the day, but this was that was totally different.
So again, trial by fire, you know what I mean? Like you learned, and I guess a positive to that is no one really knows if it's not that good. You know, as long as you put something together, no one's noticing the lighting or like they're just looking for them. Any Fire Academy video, everyone is just looking for themselves in that one thing. So if you're able to capture
Right.
everybody once or twice, you probably win.
Exactly. I'm like, oh man, you didn't put me in the video. I'm like, bro, I'm so sorry.
Oh, see, I would see again, being me from New Jersey, I would have been like, no, you didn't see yourself. Go back and watch again. I think it's like around 7:22. You're in there. Just your helmet, maybe. Like you got to look. I thought that was you. Like
It's hilarious.
just straight lie to him, man. It's okay.
Yeah, right.
So, and strongman is like an interesting way to kind of get into things too, on the sports media end. Because again, it's not this humongous thing, like how Noah had talked about. Most strongman competitions are in the parking lot of a gym, and the spectators are the other people competing and their family members. So, that kind of coming about, you went really rapidly from, the parking lot to the stage at the Arnold, right?
Oh yeah, and then just to hit on like the parking lot ones, those are the best strongman meets. Those are the best ones. But yeah, I definitely came from the powerlifting world first, grew from there, and then went into strongman, and then basically like grew from there. And I'm still like growing in the actual like strongman world.
Well, so that's really unique too, because in the powerlifting world, it's kind of static. There's the person, they come up, they lift, and they walk away. You can change your angle from on the side, I'm on the right side, I'm on the left side, straight on or behind, I guess. Whereas
Right.
strongman's really dynamic, right? So that had to be a big leap for you too, changing from that kind of a static lift to a dynamic lift or a
Oh yeah,
dynamic
I
lift.
remember like my first time shooting a strongman like versus or from shooting powerlifting, and I was like, yo, what is going on? Like, there's so much going on. So I had to like change. I had to learn how to like change my settings on the fly. Like, but I mean, it definitely like helped even with like local projects here now that we do. Like I can I don't even have to like look at my camera sometimes. Like I can switch settings like pretty quick now.
It's epic. So I've been fortunate enough to do a lot of different types of events, let's just say. And some of them just almost as a spectator or doing like a little bit of MC work and just different things there. And watching, sometimes I watch the media folks more than I watch the competitors because, I've seen loads of CrossFit competitions, but let's try to watch how this photographer is going to chase them down the way and stay out of their way and still capture that picture. And I guess that's kind of the level that you're getting at now, where you're saying like this how to change the settings without even looking down. Like 3 clicks is this, or 4 clicks is that.
Right, exactly. It's kind of like like you're doing fire training in the dark.
Yeah,
You just have to know. You just have to know what you're doing in that situation.
which to me is psychotic because I'm lucky I can find the camera button on my phone with the lights on, or like
I'm sorry.
anything like that. I wonder
Right,
if
exactly.
that was you or me that just binged, but whatever, it happens.
I was like, oh my bad.
It happens. Never fear. Again, some of the things that we just do along the way these days. But yeah, like that dynamic shot, and I feel like, and obviously I've seen a lot of your video work now online. Like you're doing such a good job of capturing that moment. Like you don't want to miss that moment where Marcus puts the fire hydrant above his head for the last time.
Right,
Like and is in
exactly.
near tears or is in tears. I don't remember which part the tears come out, but like that's such an important thing.
Yeah, and it's weird just because I have to like think about like I have to anticipate what's happening before it even happens because I'm also taking photos and video at the same time. So I have to make sure like I capture that on video versus a photo because I mean a photo is nice, but I mean, sometimes like if you see me on this actual stage on the live stream, I have my camera right here, and then I have my actual like picture camera right here. So I'm taking video and pictures at the same time, just to capture everything.
Because it's again, you want to get that moment, right? Because that moment, and for you too, like let's not kid, that moment for you is making you money, right? That's your money maker. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
you get that picture, and that picture goes on the cover of some magazine or anything like that. That's how you make your money these days. So you have to be able to have both and be in that moment every time.
Exactly.
I think a lot of people don't ever think about that when they think about media work and how it all really works. Even people showing up at emergency scenes, snapping photos and things, they sell those photos to the media, and that's their money maker right there, is
Right.
capturing that moment and being on the other side of the lens. And again, I've been fortunate to work with some amazing photographers and videographers just throughout my career of doing things that made me look like an athlete. I'm like, I am not an athlete. Like, how did you do that? Like, look, like you have my insane vein coming out of my head. Like, did I do that? Like, how did you know to capture that? Right. And I've gotten to become friends with a lot of them too, and even jump behind the camera here or there just as like a joke. But I was so stressed out anytime they gave me the camera. First off, I didn't want to drop it. But the second part was like, did I capture that good? Like, did I do that good? So that stress level too has to be even higher at some of the events you're at.
Oh yeah, which I tell everybody, like everybody has like a creative bone. Because I even gave my wife like my camera one time for a powerlifting meet when I was competing, and she did phenomenal with her pictures.
Of
I'm not
you
just
too?
saying
Was she
that like
taking pictures of you or of other people?
of other people and me. Like she did a really good job on that one, and that was like her like maybe second time holding the camera. I was like, everybody has a creative bone. You just have to like really like get into it. So it was nice to actually like see that.
And probably the pressure probably makes it a little bit too, because I know that I was under the pressure one time I was definitely under the pressure where he was like, and it was the same type of thing, like he was going to go compete and he's like, here man, you snap the photos, and I'm like, oh my god, like they're paying you to do this, bro. And he's like, no, I got a bunch of photos, don't worry about it. And I'm like, okay, maybe I can do this. And I was really looking for like trying to get that moment in a still of like the weight all the way up or the weight all the way down, or that pain face like when they made it, or like I always like the resting. I don't want to say the resting ones, but the like contemplation ones, and especially in strongman. Like, am I going to lift this again? When you can take that emotion and put it into a photo or even a video is unreal to me.
Right. Those are like the best ones for sure.
They definitely run the gambit, and I think too we're used to obviously watching sports if we're going to talk about sports, but like NBC at the Olympics has 8,000 cameras and angles and 30 people in a truck telling you which one's going to do what, and a delay on it too to say like, okay, this is what we're going to show right here now,
Right.
where you have you and two cameras.
Yeah, those are the fun ones to watch too. Like if you're actually like watching the Olympics and then you're watching like the camera people, they're really cool to actually watch.
And especially too because it's not again we'll go with the ESPN 8 the Ocho line, but like not like a lot of these events are on TV very often, where like the
Mhm.
NFL cameras on Fox, those guys every Sunday are working an NFL game, and a lot of times on Saturday working an NCAA game. They're used to following football. Now all of a sudden you're like, follow badminton. Like,
Go to pickleball. Like
yeah, follow pickleball. Like, or here, film breakdancing. Who, like, again, we could talk about breakdancing in the Olympics 2024 all year. Like, I'm going to
oh,
Australia. My son wants to challenge Ray Gun when we're there. Like, he's ready to throw down if she's listening again.
whenever you do that, let me know. I'll come out there with a camera. That'll be amazing.
We'll be there for Christmas this year, bro. So the trip is happening. Finding her, I'm working on it right now. We're working on it, right?
That would be amazing.
But like, how about that? Like, hey, you're gonna film breakdancing, and I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that like they didn't hire dance photographers that are used to filming breakdancing. It was just
Mhm.
whoever wasn't on an event that day. So you have to figure that out on the fly.
Right, exactly.
Ooh, I gotta plug my Mac in. So talk about figuring that out on the fly, and I'm gonna plug my computer in because it's about to die. Hold on.
Okay. Yeah, just figuring that stuff out on the fly is like really important. Just because like I don't know, like you just have to figure that out. You definitely have to figure it out.
Here we go. See, and I knew, so it's hysterical, right? I told Lance before we started this that I was really nervous and afraid that he was going to make fun of my setup. And when I do this, I have to plug 18 different wires in, and I forgot the charging wire. And the program told me when we started recording, like, you forgot the charging wire. And I'm like, all right, no big deal. Like, I'm sure I had almost full battery on the laptop. Yeah, no, now it's like your computer is going to go to sleep if you don't plug it in full. So there's me, total pro podcast guy, being like, I'll be right back.
I'm supposed to be the one that's nervous.
Wow, you're just talking to me, man. This is not like, this is not Dateline NBC here. I don't ask the hard questions until the end. The Size Up 10 comes with the hard questions, right? But again, it's those moments I think that really matter. And having someone like you back there capturing them is clutch. And I've had some folks on who do media stuff, more for the fire service, like but doing like PR work for fire departments. And that's another thing. I don't know if you've done any of that, but have you been able to do anything like that back into the actual fire service?
No, I haven't done any of that, but I do have a friend that does it in Miami, Rick Stevens. He does it for Miami Dade, so it's cool to actually like see him actually like go across Miami Dade and what he actually shoots them from a freaking helicopter. Like that's totally different from like what I do, or even Chance Craven. I don't
Yep.
know if you know him from Honor Supply. He's like a
Chance
really
has
good
been on
friend.
the show.
Dude,
So
he's awesome.
here we can name drop. So Rick Stevens, the CrossFit EMS photographer guy that I've known for I've probably known him for 10. God, I should have him on the show. Like, that's actually like
You should.
a douche move by me to not reach out to him, because he's photographed so many different cool things, and me for that matter. You know what I mean? Like, literally, and me. He's one of the guys that I was talking about that made me look good, right? Chance has been on the show before, and kind of what he's doing out there. I mean, the guy's buying a fire truck now to go
Yeah,
and
it's
shoot things,
freaking
right?
nuts, man.
But for you, that to me seems like another kind of iteration of not just in sports, but being able to do this, because you get to capture those moments for folks.
Exactly. Which is nice being in like the world's strongest firefighter, just because I can actually like still give back to firefighters in a sense. So it's nice to actually like still do that, because I mean like we do a lot with like their world's strongest firefighter podcast. Like we do a lot with that too.
Which is cool. I just saw actually today Marcus, his episode got dropped today, so I have to listen to it at some point this week. I feel like, just to see what he says on that show that he didn't say on my show. But it's so cool to
He's a
be
cool guy. He's awesome.
he really is, like, him, and even with him, when I had his wife Stephanie come on, he was like, yeah, that'd be awesome. Like, no one's asked me like if my wife wanted to do anything with me, and I'm like, why not? Like, she's a firefighter as well, and a competitor, and she's married to you. Like, that is the most interesting story that needs to be told.
Exactly. And she's strong as hell too.
Yeah, I'm really like, they were like, you should come out and work out with us, and I'm like, why? So your wife can embarrass me on video? Like, I don't want to do that. Like, I mean, I'll take the embarrassment because she's strong as hell, but yeah, you are way stronger than me, lady.
Yeah, so they're really good people. I went up there for his first inaugural strongman competition, where he did like his benefit for firefighters,
Yep.
and that was like awesome to actually be there.
I was away with my family that weekend, or we would have been there as well, because I was like, this
Oh
seems
man,
cool as hell.
yeah, you gotta come next year for sure.
And I think that's another cool thing too, though, that you just pointed out, and this is kind of how my life has gotten me to this point. But those connections, right? Like, you just keep connecting dots and keep moving the ball forward.
Oh yeah, that's like I literally was just talking to my dad about this morning. But I had, for some reason, I have like this God given talent to network. I don't know how it happens sometimes, and I'm like, hey, I'm just gonna roll with it and let it just do its thing.
Well, look, I mean, again, and in that God-given talent, though, your work is like your calling card, right? Because I've seen your stuff online. Like, hey, I want to work with this guy if I'm doing an event, and you just keep growing and growing and growing, and going on to the next one, and I know your dad's got to be super proud at that, just watching you from the decision that he was kind of like, maybe this isn't the best, to now, right?
Right, exactly.
And dad,
Which
if you're
I mean,
listening, like, trust me, I'm full on board with that. I don't know about this one, man, but hey, we're gonna support you and see where it goes. And now look at where it's going.
Right, exactly. And now he's like, oh yeah, what's next? What's next? Like,
Now he's like, when are you gonna come take pictures of me, man? Like,
yeah,
come on.
exactly.
I do cool stuff. Like, make me look good on it, because that's a total. And I said this, like a Rick Stevens. Like, Rick Stevens has taken pictures of me that I didn't even know he was taking, and then sent them to me. And I'm like, bro, how did you do that? And he's like, that's how I do it. It's that natural moment that I think all the creatives are really looking for.
Right, exactly. Because it's like people see a big camera in their face, and they're like, versus like you're like hidden, like you're doing ninja stuff, and then you're just and you get the perfect picture that way.
My wife and I, let's see. Okay, here we go, Pip. We're going to be married 18 years in 2 weeks here.
Oh
And
wow,
18, I'm old, dude. I'm really old. I just have
dude!
childish goals.
Congratulations, man. That's goals.
Thanks. Thank you very much. 18 years of marital bliss with Mrs. Pip. Maybe she'll come back on. We can talk about our 18 years together. But we called our wedding photographer the wedding ninja, because all of a sudden Jeff would be somewhere and taking pictures. Like, the camera would be like down by his hip. And I'm like, how did he get that picture? And we actually, someone that was at our wedding snapped a picture of him snapping pictures that way. And we're like, oh, somebody got you, ninja. And we just talked to my boys about this the other night. He is now like nationally one of the most sought after wedding photographers. Like, he's done famous people's weddings, and like we were like, we can't afford him if we want to do a vow renewal. I'm like, maybe he'll give us like a 90% discount type of a thing. But that's it, right? It's what you just said. It's that guy in the background capturing the moment that you didn't even know was a moment, maybe.
Right, exactly. Those are like the best ones, especially like competitions. Those are the best ones that
Yeah, that
everybody
like
loves.
rawness.
Right, exactly. Like, or even if like they just got done with a lift that they didn't even know they had in them, like that's a good moment to catch. Or even like in Marcus's case, when you talk about him crying, like that was like a good one, just because like he came back from an injury, he didn't know that he was going to win that, so that flooding of emotion, like to capture, that was like icing on the cake. I could have threw my camera away at that point.
Definitely chef's kiss. And he talked about that on the podcast too, was like the flooding out of emotions on that stage. He's like, here I am, like, I can't believe this just happened. Like, it's so amazing. For those of you that didn't listen, go back. I don't know the episode. I could probably flip through some pages here, but I do have an episode with Marcus Wild, the world's strongest firefighter. It's probably like an episode like the 50s or so if you were looking for it, and his wife Stephanie. But he talks about that event, and then Lance captured that photos or that video action right there. Which is always good, and it's so important. And it's just like what Chance is doing. You mentioned Chance Craven, who's a past guest. Like, going to these training events, no one going to a training event thinks there's going to be a photographer there capturing video and photo. And I would say that the majority of the folks he does feature had no idea that he even caught that moment.
Right, exactly.
And
Because
it's pretty.
that was like a big thing. I mean, like how I even met Chance was from the Fire Combat Challenge, and then we basically were just shooting here and there, and like from like Salt Lake City to Florida, like all those competitions, and then me and him became like really good friends too from that.
So you've been on tour with the, geez, I was going to say, with the Combat Challenge, like you've been to the locations and things.
Yes,
Oh,
sir.
so again, we know a bunch of the same people, which we didn't even know before this one. But it's just so funny how you connect these dots and you're networking of like, oh, I've met that person, or I've done that with these people. Like, I had no idea you did that with them or anything like that until now.
Oh yeah, that was a little while back. I used to follow the St. Lucie Combat Challenge team around.
Oh, Port St. Lucie, Florida. Okay, I was trying to think. I'm like,
Mhm.
what is he talking about? Like, did he
No,
say
yeah,
St.
oh
Louis
yeah,
and
Port
mess it
St.
up?
Lucie,
Like,
Florida.
where are you at? Like, but again, capturing those moments for them is such a big deal because they're so in the moment of competing, and having that to look back on is just a great thing to share.
Right, exactly.
So I do love the name Zero Dark 30. It's a great movie if you haven't seen it. But what made you hone in on that was a question I had.
So the reason why I came up with that name was because of the Fire Academy. Anytime that we had to like go there for like a test or anything, the professor would always say like, "Hey, we have to be back at 0 to 30," and I always thought it was like a freaking cool freaking phrase. So I was like, when I was coming up with a name for it, I was like, "Oh man, 0 to 30 is like so fire to me." just because like I always used to get up at like 3 o'clock in the morning just to work out. So like just being up early was like a perfect thing for me. So it definitely worked hand in hand.
No, better you than me. I've done that early morning workout thing for a while. It's just not for me anymore. I just don't want to get out of bed. Like I'll work out today. I'm gonna get it in after we hang up, but like I have to have a I have to have a goal, right? So like if I'm gonna run a marathon again, then there will be days where I'm getting up at 5 a.m. Last year I did for the month of July, I did I guess it's 100 miles in the month of July with a weighted vest on. So basically a 5K a day, 3 miles a day for the month of July. On days I'd be going to work, I had to get up at 0 dark 30 because I had to make that happen because I wasn't doing the 5K at work. And if I didn't go that day, that meant 5 or 6 miles the next day. So with a
Right.
goal, I can make that happen. Without, no way.
Yeah, that's wild. Yeah, now you have to do Squattober.
Which one's that? Is that
Sornix, I think it is, or if I'm
yeah,
saying it
I
wrong.
think I started it once and then I stopped, but
Yeah, that's rough.
yeah,
It's rough.
it's a lot of squatting and a lot of weight and right because it's not just air squats. It's
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of weight. Like I think they start you off are like around like 60% of your max, and then yeah, it's a lot.
another great if you want to name drop. I know Brett Soren. I've met him on my journey of things and did some cool stuff with him too as well. So they always have cool events at Sorenex there too. And they're kind of like cross pollinating, right? Like they're in the strongman world, but they're in the general fitness world, the CrossFit world, like the plethora
Right,
of fitness
exactly.
opportunities you have.
Yeah, because I mean, I know you guys from like way back Fire Academy days. I used to follow Next Wrong and everything. So I was like, dude, this is so cool. When Noah told me about that, I was like, no way, bro. What the
Yeah,
heck?
the old 555 fitness connection always comes back around to somebody, right? Like
Exactly.
dropping those workouts out there and all those things. And again, that's where I kind of knew nothing about multimedia stuff or anything. And even then, like talking to like let's say a Rick Stevens or like the people behind the camera, a lot of them were always like, dude, nobody ever talks to us. Like they just expect us to do our job. And I'm like, all right, I don't know. I talk to everybody. Like that's kind of how I discovered this world that I could do and just talk to everybody. But it's one of those things like it's almost like you're unappreciated, and then the work comes out and everybody's excited to see themselves, but they forget who's behind the camera doing it.
Right. That's like a big thing. That's a big thing that I try to like not do like when I'm out. Like if I have somebody like under me shooting, like I usually try to get like photos of them because that's one thing that we never get.
Yeah, it's
So
photos of
like
you guys.
exactly. So like we try to like go back and forth and be like, hey dude, I got like a couple photos of you. Or even if I see like somebody at a competition and I know the photographer, like I'm going to like shoot like a couple shots of them and then just like move on to like whatever I'm doing. But just trying to like really pat everybody on the back and give people flowers, I feel like that's like a big thing.
Most definitely. Like you always and I see that a lot in our community, in the fitness community for sure too, of like the people thanking the photographers or the event organizers pointing them out for sure to be like, give that guy a round of applause or like, that girl out there who's been doing more fitness than all of you combined because you do one heat of the exercise, they do every heat of the exercise, right?
literally, literally, that's hilarious.
So
I mean, that's one thing I can't knock about the firefighters because they always give like very good praise, especially John. John always tries to put me on the spot during like athlete meetings and everything. He's like, "Oh yeah, Lance, you want to say a word of anything?" And I'm like, "I hate talking in front of people."
I
I'm
just
like,
want to
"Go out
hold the
there and kill it,
camera.
guys."
Please don't step on me or drop the weight on me. Thank you.
Oh man, that's happened before too.
So let's talk as we get into that. Let's spend the last little bit here talking about you because you've said you've competed as well. So kind of like your fitness journey into all this. So where are you at with all that? Is the easiest way I can ask.
Well, if I wasn't so busy, I would still compete. But I've definitely competed in powerlifting before. I've done like one meet, and then after that, everything blew up with 0 to 30, and I haven't freaking had time to even like compete or anything. So I'm just like mix and match of CrossFit, powerlifting, and strongman right now. But I definitely want to compete in a strongman competition. I just haven't told anybody yet.
Well,
Because
now you did.
Noah
Now you
really
just told
inspired me.
thousands of people that, by the way. Like,
Exactly.
and unfortunately, a lot of the people know you because I didn't know we had these connections. So, and a lot of them actually compete in this as well. So now you're really effed for that one.
Exactly. Yeah, Noah really inspired me to actually like go into that because like seeing him actually like work out at Wreck It, dude, I was like, man, that's super cool that he's getting after it.
Yeah, listening to him say like how he kind of got involved in it and things, and talking to him not from the show but even offline about it, I'm like, I had no idea you competed. Like none of these stories came out when him and John and I were all talking. But like, it's such a great thing because again, like to me, fitness keeps me grounded. It's the easiest way that I can put it.
Oh yeah, I feel like it like overall just keeps me grounded as well. But it just makes me a better like business owner, makes me a better husband. Like it definitely like helps out.
I wonder like, and I'm not asking you for the answer because we're gonna get deep here, but like, when did people realize that? Like, did they know that in the 90s? Like, did Jack LaLanne know that in the 50s that, like, his crazy fitness routines made him a better husband, a better person? Is that just the way our society has gotten to now? I know I always thought I had to be fit to be a firefighter because of my size difference with everyone else. And I went through some bad things that happened and then did some bad things, I guess is a good way to put it, or coped with them in some bad ways. And running, my wife definitely pointed out that I replaced one addiction with another by running marathons. How that turned into fitness, because I don't run marathons anymore, I have no clue. But I know I just feel better. Like if I miss too many days in a row, I don't feel good.
Oh yeah, I feel like it's like one of those things of if you miss 2 days, it's like no, what is it? If you miss one day, it's okay, but if you miss two, that's when you have to be like, all right, dude, like log back in.
Yeah, two. If I miss two, the third I'm definitely doing.
Right.
And I'm not going to lie again, where like sometimes I do miss that day after just because I killed myself the day before. Like I just worked, I just did something stupid, let's say, for my own benefit. But I'm like, no, I'm not going to go today. My body's not feeling it right now. But if I miss 3 days in a row without doing anything, it's just not good.
Yeah, I feel so sluggish if I'm doing something like that because usually on the days like I'm just chilling, like I'm editing like a lot of stuff that I shoot, so like I'm just like stagnant here and just going away. So I'm like, oh no, I gotta move. Definitely have to move.
Editing is the worst. I cannot stand any minute. I don't like making clips. I mean, again, it's part of my why my social media sucks. I just hate doing that. And excuse me, even with like an AI helper, let's say on some things, I still have to watch it. I still have to tweak it. I look at I touched my nose 3 times in that 1 second clip, 1 minute clip. Should I post that one? It's just like my
That's
own
why
worst
people
enemy.
ask me like, "Oh yeah, you love this video?" I'm like, "No, I hate it actually." I'm like, "I hate this video because I've watched it over 30 times."
I'm more better at wanting to post like the videos of me working out where I just pass out at the end and hit the floor because I'm like, yeah, that's really my natural state. So I'd rather show that I'm writhing on the floor than like looking at videos and being like, oh, my squat wasn't really at parallel or below, or like, I didn't do full shoulder extension. I can't post that. Like,
I get roasted online.
but and the really shitty part is I can totally post it. I don't really care. Like you can say whatever you want, but it's just my own in my head, I'm more mad at myself for not being at full extension when I knew I could have been.
Right, but it's crazy though because like you have people that are like fitness professionals, and then they're doing stuff wrong and they just keep posting away. They get all the views, they get paid. Like it's just really just staying consistent with everything.
So happy you said that and I didn't. But yes, I do agree with you on that. Like the fitness air quotes professionals out there that I'm like, what are you doing? Like, hey, good on you. That's what I say. But
Yep.
on that end too, they are still moving and they are still doing it, which I feel like through my journey with 555, because we did, when we started out, we were very CrossFitty for sure. I mean, Larry and I were
Mhm.
both doing heavily involved in CrossFit, coaching CrossFit at the time. Um, as we grew and as I met more and more people, it became more of like just do fitness. Whatever you're doing that works for you, whether it be strongman, running, BJJ, swimming, whatever it is, as long as you're doing something, you're going to be better off for it.
Right, exactly. Because I mean, like when I was going through Fire Academy, like you guys were like it for me. So I was like just freaking saving everything that you guys posted and just fucking going with
You
that.
can curse. I
Uh,
curse too. It's okay. We already
okay.
got the we already got the E on there, so no big deal. It
But yeah,
happens.
I was literally just going through that and like flying through freaking Fire Academy. Like I would just be running up the stairs and they'd be like, "Bro, what is wrong with you?"
I did these crazy workouts by these two guys, and
Yeah, right.
that's what got me here. Because that's when people say that, I'm like, look, man, we were just throwing not throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what's sticking, but like we were like, this is what we like to do, so we'll see if other people like to do it. And I think that's what it kind of developed into, right? Was kind of that like whatever you're doing, I'm happy you're doing it, and that's kind of the way I feel about not just the fire service and fitness, but like society. Listen, if you're out there moving and you're doing something, you're better off.
Exactly. I feel like people think about it too much. I'm like,
Yeah.
bro, if you move, even if it's like a day, a night, like if you take a break and do like a 15-minute WOD, like at least you're moving. That's like the biggest thing that people need to get across, like in their head is like, yo, I just need to move just for a little bit, and just stay consistent with it, and then you'll see change for sure.
It's going to happen. And again, it's the marathon, not the sprint, right? But look, my wife just texted me. She's in Colorado. She flew out yesterday. And she's like, all these people are complaining about the elevation. And she's like, I don't notice it. I'm like, that's because they're probably not in any form of shape. Like, if you work out, you're going to notice the elevation. Like, the second you start getting your heart rate up and your breathing up, I'm like, but you're not noticing it because you're a little more accustomed to a harder type of environment.
Mm-hmm.
So she's like, I'm not working out then for 2 days. I'm like, I don't blame you because I did a
She's
lot of
like, this
stuff in
is leg day
Colorado,
for
and
me.
she even asked me, she's like, did this happen to you when you were out here? And I was like, if I went from the airport to the gym, which I did several times out there, or to a shoot or something where I had to physically perform, I was like, it was horrible. Like if I acclimated for like a day or two and then did that, I got way better. But landing
Yeah,
and going to work out, I don't recommend.
that's a rough one for sure.
Dude,
I remember us
one day
taking.
we went from the airport right to Red Rocks for like a shoot and right into working out, and it was not pretty.
Yeah, that elevation is a serious.
But it's also the point of like why we do the fitness that we do. So you are just more prepared. You know, that general preparedness that CrossFit talked about all so long ago is so important in life.
Right, exactly. I remember like going through like Fire Academy, and like I would always just be working out. And people would ask me like why, and I'm like, bro, what if like the world ends and I have to like run 10 miles this way? Like I am ready for it. Like you just never
Have you
know.
not
Like
seen the zombie TV shows? Like I am ready. Don't be the slowest. My kids, we're going to Australia this year, and like people are like, "Oh my God, so many animals can kill you there," and I'm like, "Yeah, just don't be the slowest in the group." I'm like, "Sorry, Finn, like my kid, I'm faster than you, buddy. Like I can't help you out there if you can't run faster, bud."
that's hilarious.
That's it, man. Just be prepared. But that's what I do love about fitness is just, and I'm trying to teach my boys that, and they work out with us, once or twice a week. Like it's just your lifestyle, right? It's something you have to have incorporated into your life, and it's going to make your life better for it.
Right, exactly.
So always a win. But as we're getting here to that time where the hour is looming to end, and I don't want to keep you because I'm sure you have way more editing to do. Um, what do you have coming up with Zero Dark 3D Media? Like, where are you going to be? You going to shoot anything big coming up, or
I am about to go to Strongman Corp Nationals in South Carolina, and then I'm doing that this week, and then next month I have to go to Strongman Corp uh, Olympia. Like they're, let me reword that. I'm going to the Olympia for Strongman Corp American Strongest Man. I'm doing that, and then after that, take a little break, and then we have World's Strongest Firefighter coming up
nice? And World's Strongest Firefighters at the Arnold in March,
in
right? First weekend.
Columbus, Ohio, in March.
Nice. Maybe I may or may not see you there. We'll see where
Oh
that goes.
man, we definitely have to take a picture if we do. Come on, man.
I may or may not be able to be out there if Noah texts me back a time that we're supposed to talk. But hopefully it'll have happened before then. But
Dude, that would be awesome.
I'm pretty excited, just at the opportunity of talking to him about it. But I've been out to the Arnold, and it was before World's Strongest Firefighter. But it was just such an out of control fitness event that I'm like, yeah, that'd be fun to go back to.
Yeah, and it's getting bigger every year,
I
so
can only imagine.
you'd love it.
Let's see, I was out there 7 years ago, was when I was there. So I'm sure it's quadrupled in size by now.
Yeah, it took a hit during like COVID,
Sure.
like everything did. But I mean, it's been building up like crazy every year.
It just
Like
features so many different types of fitness and athletics, I guess would be the word, that it's going to be huge again, no matter what. And the fact that Arnold is just so cool about it all, for lack of a better term, you know what I mean? Like he's
right,
not,
exactly.
he's in, like hearing Marcus talk about him and Noah talk about him and John, and just like he's not, I don't know. He's not that corporate head, I guess. You know what I mean? Like he's in. He wants to be a part of it, especially with the firefighter end of it.
Oh yeah, exactly. Like everything that I've heard, like he loves firefighters, so it's pretty cool to actually like see it in person, especially like him doing like breakfast with the firefighters, like going out there and actually hand or giving them handshakes like before competition. Like it's super freaking cool to actually see that.
And you think too, like he's unattainable, right? It's Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's the biggest, whatever you want to call him in the world. Actor,
Literally.
politician, activist, you name it. He's everyone knows who Arnold Schwarzenegger is. So to hear that he's so that way for firefighters is just unreal and amazing.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Sweet. Cool, man. Well, like I said, hopefully I will see you at the Arnold, or we'll meet at the Arnold, possibly, quite possibly. We'll see. Call Noah, text Noah, tell him to text Pip back.
I'm gonna text him right now. As soon as I already had it on my mind to text him as soon as we're done. Like,
Nice. Well, plug for Pip is never, I'm never going to turn it down. So ever in my life, but if anybody else out there wants to plug me for anything they know, feel free, man. I'm in. I'll take it. Like whatever it is, good, bad, indifferent. I can always take a plug. Awesome, man. Well, you ready to do the size up 10? These 10 questions that are supposed to go fast and never do.
oof, let's get it.
All right, man. Number one, beach or mountains?
mm, mm, beach.
Nice. I figured a Florida guy would go with beach, but listen, I just went through the size up 10. My son did it a few episodes ago, and I had trouble answering the questions. So I don't know.
Yeah,
This
that was
just
a tough
works
one
out.
because I'm from North Carolina, so I'm like I don't know, like beach for sure. Yeah, I love the beach.
How about a night out or a night in?
Night in.
Nice. Well, you said you had a little one, so every now and again, take a night out though if you have a little one, because that's really important without the little one. From 18 years of marriage, I can say that night out, very important. How about a movie everybody needs to see?
Oh man, Oppenheimer.
Really? See, I have not
Oppenheimer
seen that
was
yet. I want to watch it.
is amazing. It's a really good movie. Between that and Interstellar, I'm sorry,
What was the other one?
Interstellar.
Oh,
That
Interstellar.
one's
Okay,
like
I've seen Interstellar. I have not seen Oppenheimer. Now, are you saying Oppenheimer? Because this is why this takes so long. Because now I have questions because of this. Because it's gotten awards for the cinematography, or because of the story, the acting. Like,
I mean, all of it, everything in that movie was like really well done. Plus, I'm biased because I love Christopher Nolan, but
well, at least you can
that
admit
other
that.
show
But
was really good movie.
so it's like a Saving Private Ryan, where like everything is just
Oh yeah,
unreal. All right,
everything's nice in that movie. I love it.
let me set aside like 6 hours and I'll check it out. Where are we at? Cross country road trip. Who is your celebrity co-pilot, living or dead?
Kevin Hart.
Oh, no one said Kevin Hart yet. That's a good one right there, man. That would be because he's a funny ass dude for sure, but he's also pretty deep when you listen to him on a podcast or something like that, or he gets serious, not funny. That'd be
Right,
a great ride.
exactly. I feel like he'll make the trip like seem shorter.
Oh
So
my
yeah,
god, yeah. A narration by Kevin Hart with you in a car across the country would just be out of like. I could just
that would be
imagine
amazing.
him reading road signs that I've seen on roads and then questioning them and being Kevin Hart about them. So yeah, that's a good one. Damn, I feel bad I didn't hook my short brother up and suggest
But
him. Like, you think I'm on the same level as that guy? I like him. Did you see again? Did you see this thing in the Olympics where they pointed out that his feet didn't touch the floor?
No, I didn't
Oh,
see
you have
that.
to
Oh my
go on YouTube, and it was with him and was it with Keenan Thompson? And they were doing the post show stuff, and yeah, someone pointed out that his feet, the kid sprinter, it's in the episode with the kid sprinter, was like, "Yo, your feet don't even touch the floor now." Like,
That's freaking hilarious.
it was really good. He handled it really well. All right, here we go. Do you make your bed every day?
Yes.
Nice, always a win. How about a book everyone needs to read?
The Art of War.
Okay, I think that has been suggested before, but I could be wrong. So if not, we'll say you're the first anyway. Highways or back roads? Which one are you taking?
Oof, back roads.
Nice.
I'm definitely from North Carolina, so that's definitely a big thing for me.
Nothing wrong with that. How about a bucket list place you want to visit?
Ireland for sure.
Nice.
I knocked my bucket list one out last year, and we went to Rome for our 10-year anniversary. So
Nice.
definitely Ireland is the next one.
Dude, your 10-year anniversary, you're like congratulating me like you've been married for 2 years or something. 10 years is no joke,
You're
man.
20.
I got 2 years to go to get to 20. We're only at 18, bro. Let's not go there. But so coincidentally, I was in Rome for my 10-year anniversary.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh, that's freaking sweet.
we did a cruise kind of around Europe, and Rome was one of the stops. So that's a little, again, the freaky things you find out when you host a podcast and ask random ass questions to people.
Right.
So, Rome's a great place. I had a really good time there.
I love Rome. If you ever have a time to visit Rome, go there.
Yeah, it's definitely, we didn't spend enough time, so it's definitely my boys want to go there now too, but we're just waiting. Well, obviously Australia is this year, so we're not going to Pennsylvania this year. We're not going to the Poconos this year because we're going to Australia. But like eventually, Italy is back on the map. So Ireland is on there too. I've never been, and my wife has never been, so that's on the list for sure.
I was about to say you have a firefighter connect over there, so
I got a couple. Yeah, I definitely. You want to hear what's really crazy? Again, these questions take forever, and I've said this a lot recently on the show. But like, dude, we plan a trip to Iceland. Someone I know is like, "Oh, you should bring this Iceland firefighter on your podcast." I'm like, "An Iceland firefighter? I'm going to Iceland in 4 months." Next thing you know, I'm hanging out in Iceland firehouse with my buddy there. Like,
that's freaking cool. You can't beat that at all.
Connect those dots, man. Like your dad said, just keep going, right? Like you just keep going and going and going.
Right, exactly.
All right, 2 more questions. This could be the hardest one. Is it football or football for you?
Oof, football.
American football, that's it, right?
Yep.
Sorry, there's no judgment here in either answer. I just like to know. Like, I feel like it just tells me something or another.
That was a good question. I like that one.
Well, that one's a funny one too because everybody's like, "Oh, what am I gonna say?" Like, or you have the literally definite like football, American football, soccer is not my sport, or vice versa. So, all right, last question: the best advice you could give to your younger self?
Oof, that's a good one. Don't overthink everything. I feel like that's a big thing that I used to do, and now I'm just like, oh, we're gonna try this. Let's go.
I could not agree more, especially being younger and trying to tell my older son more than my younger son. Like, dude, don't overthink this. Just make the decision. I'm like, Daddy overthinks everything, but I do just make the decision. Unlike when I was your age and I was overthinking and not making a decision ever. Oh no, did you freeze?
No, you're good.
Oh, okay. I was like, oh no, did he freeze or not? No, but yeah, definitely a great piece of advice. Listen, Lance, man, this has been a great hour. I can't thank Noah and John and Marcus and Stephanie enough for kind of leading me down this path to this cast of characters in the world's strongest firefighter, I guess is a good way to put it.
Hey, look, I appreciate you having me on. Like, this is an honor to actually be on the podcast.
Sweet, man, sweet. I'm so happy you enjoyed it. For everybody out there listening, when you're at an event or at a fire or anything like that, look for the folks behind the lens and give them a little like, hey, thanks for doing what you do, because they definitely make us all look cool, even including the on-scene firefighter photographers that have made me look like like I'm like a real deal firefighter. Like, holy cow! Like, actually, is that what I look like at work sometimes? Like, not. I think I look like not that at all. Like a kid wearing turnout gear is what I look like. But I do have some cool pictures that folks have gotten. So always give the people behind the lens a big thank you. The creatives behind all this. It's like I try to throw Sebi in every episode, but he does the painstaking job of editing my annoying self out here. So that part is that Lance is going to do now. And I would give you all the credit in the world for all the editing you do, but always give them a big thank you. As always, thanks for listening. This is Pip from the Size Up by National Fire Radio, where what you do off the job matters.
National Fire Radio.